Hi, this is Ashleigh Cobb. I'm going to be presenting my classroom management presentation. So we're going to begin. Why is it important? Student achievement at the end of the year is directly related to the degree in which the teacher establishes good control of the classroom procedures in the very first week of school. In order to achieve control of a classroom, there must be a management plan put into place. This plan will ensure that students are held accountable for their behavior. It also encourages social development and limits wasted learning time. In order for it to work fully, the teacher must use it from day one. This will set the tone for the rest of the year. So it's highly important to begin it the very first day of school. Obtaining classroom management. Classroom management can be obtained by having procedures, rules, and standards in place. These must be done consistently if they are to work fully. Classroom practices and procedures must be predictable and consistent. By modeling the correct behavior for the students, the teacher is setting an example of proper behavior. When students have a role model to look up to, they are more likely to mimic the behavior of that role model. Teachers should allow opportunities for students to share, review, evaluate, and reflect with their peers. This gives them the opportunity to socialize in a proper way and helps them develop their social skills. These are just a little, these are just my rules, my 5 rules that I've came up with. Respect your teachers and your peers. Respect will be definitely number 1 in my classroom. Raise your hand when you want to speak. Follow instructions and listen at all times. Stay in your seat unless you have permission to get up. And be prepared for class. I chose my classroom rules based on my personal experience and experiences from family members who also teach. I will generate the classroom rules myself and post them for the students to see. The rules will be posted in the same spot for the entire year, so they know where to look if they forget any of my rules. I will go over the rules and procedures with the students on the very first day, and I will also make sure that they have a copy of the rules and their parents have a copy of the rules, as well as my contact information to talk about any behavior problems. Consequences if the rules are broken. The first time is a warning. The second time is I log it in their behavior chart, and I revoke recess or one of the other privileges. And then third time, no email to parents, and fourth time out reflection form and call to the parent. And then fifth is a referral to the office. These are my procedures and some of my expectations. I expect all students to follow classroom procedures. If they choose to ignore the procedures in place, they will be reminded of the classroom procedure that was not followed. There will be classroom procedures for emergencies, starting the day, getting the teacher's attention, turning in assignments, getting the students' attention, and end of the day procedures. So, let's see. Getting the students' attention, I like to use Give Me 5, where I just hold up my hand and they know that their eyes need to be on me, their mouth should be closed, ears are listening, hands are still, and feet on the floor. So usually I get to a point where I can just hold up my hand, and some of my students will get the attention of their peers, and everyone is very attentive after that. And then procedures for getting the teacher's attention. I want them to raise their hand and wait for me to call on them. And at the end of the day, they should turn in any assignments, gather up their belongings, pick up any trash around their desk area, and put away any classroom materials. Sit quietly in their seat. So that definitely helps me keep my room nice and tidy and organized. And morning procedures, they should walk in quietly and take their seat, get out any materials they need, and begin their bell work. And emergency procedures, don't want them to stop talking, watch and listen, and stay calm. For turning in their assignments, number 1 is make sure your name and date are on it, because they like to forget that. And then check to make sure you have completed the entire thing. So I always tell them to look front and back just in case. And then have a seat and wait for further instructions. My philosophy is classroom behavior management is one where students feel safe and where learning is fun and effective. In order for this to occur, I have to have a classroom management plan in place. I want to provide my students with a safe environment to learn in. I want them to know that I am there to protect them and that they can come to me with any type of problem. When students feel loved and respected, they are more likely to participate in classroom activities. They are also more likely to respect their peers. Respect will be my number one again, and I am a firm believer in respecting others and treating others the way you want to be treated. I base my philosophy mostly off of the Cantor model, so we're going to just talk about that real quickly. I strongly agree with the Cantor model of discipline. They believe that teachers must be assertive rather than passive or hostile. State rules consistently and clearly, follow through appropriately, apply positive consequences when students meet behavioral expectations, and apply negative consequences when they do not. I plan on discussing my rules again and consequences the first day of school. I want my students to know that what I expect of them from day one, and I want to be an assertive teacher that does not lose my cool when students' behavior gets out of control. By being assertive and consistent, I will minimize the time lost from behavioral interruptions. I believe that following the Cantor model, my classroom management plan will be highly effective. So this was developed by Lee and Marlene Cantor in the 1970s, and it focuses mainly on punishing unacceptable behaviors and providing positive reinforcement for acceptable behaviors. For my positive and negative behavior, I will respond to positive behaviors by giving students praise and or a sticker for their sticker chart. I believe in the Cantor's belief that a system based on positive interactions and positive recognition will encourage students to continue appropriate behavior. For negative, when a student chooses to misbehave, he or she will be asked to recall the proper rule of or procedure for that particular task. And then if the misbehavior continues, I will have a private discussion with that child about the behavior. And if the behavior still continues, parents will be contacted. And then obviously for serious behavior issues, students will be sent to the office. So I like to at least give them a warning or two and try to give them a pep talk to make better choices and have positive behavior. So my classroom setup. Here's a little map of my classroom. It shows the layout. The students' desks are placed into groups of 4 to help with communication and discussion. They are placed in the middle of the room so they can see the smart board, and they're kind of angled so everybody can see pretty good. And then, oops, sorry about that. Then my desk is placed over here where I can see the entire room, and in front of my smart board, I like to keep a big rug for like reading and big group discussions. And then obviously my computers are placed by the outlets and the internet access. Providing a safe environment. In order for our students to succeed, they must feel safe in their environment. As teachers, it is our job to create an environment that is safe both physically and emotionally for our students. To do this, I will follow my rules and procedures at all times. I will also discuss these with parents. I will have a deep discussion about bullying with my students. They will know that it is not tolerated. I will make myself available to talk about concerns or problems. Students with aggressive tendencies will be seated near my desk. This will help me to keep a closer eye on them and to avoid other students getting harmed. I will also require that these students check in with me every morning to discuss how they are feeling and how their morning went. So I just want to have a little discussion with them early on to see, kind of feel out how they're feeling today and if I need to be on the lookout for any outburst. And parent communication. I have 4 ways for my parents to contact me. The first one is a note in their homework binder, which will be sent home every day, and then I will check them every day. So just a quick sticky note from either them or me is a good way to communicate easily. And then using the Remind Me app, it's kind of like an instant text to my phone. And then email, of course, they'll have my email address. And for major emergencies, parents will be asked to call the school office, and they will relay that message to me quickly. I believe that parents and teachers should work together as a team in order to help their child succeed. Open communication helps foster that relationship. And then I'll make sure that parents know, even if I read their message or email in the middle of the day, I'm not going to respond to them until the end of the day, so that doesn't break up my teaching time. And then accommodations. Accommodations are made in order to help a student understand and absorb the information more easily. The state will require evidence of these accommodations being made in my classroom. More importantly, my students will need these supports to be able to achieve any level of growth or mastery of the subject being taught. So I just named a few. ESOL provide books written in Spanish. Partner them with an English speaker to help them with lessons, record vocabulary words in English and in Spanish, just to make it a little bit easier for them. And then gifted, I will always include a challenge for gifted students in each lesson. I encourage them to really think deep about each topic, not just giving them extra work, but work that expands on what the lesson is about. So a lot of times gifted students finish their assignments early, so I don't want to just give them busy work. I always want to make sure that there's something that really digs deeper into the lesson for them. And then ESC accommodations will be made according to the child's specific needs. Every child's disability is different. I'll meet with the IEP team and the student's parents to discuss what works best for that child's specific needs. So, like I said, every child is different, but obviously if they have any equipment that they need to use in the classroom, that will always be accommodated. And if they have sensitivity to light, I'll try to take that into account. Just anything that they need to help them feel comfortable and learn more easily. And then lastly, I just have my references. And I think that is it. Exit out of here. And thank you for watching.